Hello there, and welcome to War Productions. I am Nick.
And I'm Evan.
And today we were doing a little podcasty thing, something a little different, off the script, off the cuff sort of thing, where we are just going to talk about all of the TV shows that have come out over this past year, including this piece of garbage, as well as much better TV shows.
We'll talk about a little bit of things that we're kind of currently on, I know you're watching The Pit right now. The Pit is just one of the... I watched season one. Season one's awesome.
Pit's super cool. Again, the new season doesn't really do anything new. It's just more fun, Pit. It's just crazy. It's so stressful. It's so anxious, right? A lot of medical workers I know talk about that show as the most accurate to what an ER actually feels like. It's fun. It has great character moments. Dr. Rabanovich is such a perfectly great sort of likable asshole character, right? Because
Noah Wiley has been doing this for 20 odd years at this point. He's just nailed that fucking stereotypical role. He's awesome. All those characters are great, even the ones you're not liking. It's like you love to hate them kind of thing. The Pit is great. I haven't really caught up, so I'm not talking about it yet. But
also, you all may have noticed we have something new on the Playing Now spot. I've had Pragmata up here for the last 5 uploads, but now we have 007 First Light. This game fucks. Oh my god, this game is great. If y'all have been wanting Uncharted 5, go and play this. This is the closest you will get to that. And all those haters on the internet, y'all can stuff it. This is awesome and is some of the most fun I've had with a game in a very, very long time. We'll be talking about that more in the future.
Other than that, I've always been a cinema guy, and kind of behind the scenes, I guess, a little behind the curtain between us. I'm a cinema guy. I've been trying to catch up with movies on the theaters. I just saw Project Hail Mary for the first time. That movie's awesome.
Dude, that movie is such a feat.
It really is.
I love Project Hail Mary. Was so cool. They shot that whole movie without CGI. And I remember I learned that after I saw that. I'm like, how the hell did they do that? With all the LED panels to simulate stars and space. It is just one of those movies that's just an absolute technical feat and just an achievement of filmmaking. It is.
It really is. And then to top it off, let's look at the performances. They're just so fantastic.
Ryan Gosling doesn't miss.
Yeah, he's playing at all cylinders. It's one of his best roles in many years, and this is coming from a guy who's getting a really big renaissance right now. So just really glad to see where he's going. I really love Project Hail Mary. And then a couple of other ones that you haven't seen this one, but Obsession has been incredible.
I'm probably gonna see Obsession this weekend.
Obsession is fucking one of the best movies of the year. It really is. It does not miss. It's got the tightest script. It's got great characters. It's got a great story. It's got a lot to say. And you need a good horror movie like that every once in a while.
Better than The Backrooms.
Better than Backrooms, for sure.
That was the most... We will not be making a video about The Backrooms. That is not worth a 2-hour video essay.
God, no.
Pretentious goddamn shit. It wasn't terrible. I didn't hate the performances in that movie. I really like the concept. I really like the commitment to liminalness that movie has, even outside of shots of the Backrooms, right? I like how they slowly introduce it. I like how they talk about the Backrooms as a character. There's a lot of things I like about that movie, but overall, it's just what the fuck are we doing here? It feels like one of those things where they're going to introduce a very vague construction of this universe and just rely on people's obsession with it to fill out the rest of the universe. People's theories about it, people's ideas about it, everything. I remember we saw it yesterday and I literally noted it and I'm like, fucking video essay bait.
Honestly, and I'm not going to sit here and knock Kane Parsons' directing and style and his way of doing things. Honestly, it's a miracle that a 20-year-old can get A24's backing. I don't know what the amount the budget was, but it is insane that he was able to do what he did, and the product that came out was not complete dog shit.
True.
Out of all the and this might be a little bit of a take, out of all the YouTuber to filmmaker pipeline, Obsession's clearly the best one. Obviously, Curry Barker is great. Then it goes Backrooms. Then it goes Iron Lung for Markiplier.
Iron Lung was not good.
Iron Lung's weird. Iron Lung is weird. Iron Lung feels the most video essay bait. Then
Anyway.
Yeah.
Segueing into actually what we actually want to talk about.
The big discussion.
Invincible.
That was so fantastic. We're going to talk about the 3 shows we're going to talk about are Invincible Season 4, the Season 5 and finale of The Boys, and then we're going to talk about
of Maul Shadow Lord.
Yeah, Maul Shadow Lord, which, in all honesty, if we're going to start with Invincible, I mean, I don't have a whole lot to say because I just think it's great. You know, like, my biggest gripe is with the animation.
Honestly, I think maybe I just don't have the eye for it. But, like, the animation throughout all of Invincible has never super bothered me. Yeah. I think it's just good enough to where it doesn't bother me. That animation looks like it could have existed 20 years ago. Like, I remember the first time because I've been watching Invincible since Season 1, right? I was introduced to it in Season 1, and I remember watching this, I'm like, this looks just like Young Justice, right? Like,
I mean, it's fair, but, like, Young Justice is from Cartoon Network, right?
It's true.
Like, we're watching a show on Amazon Prime.
They have all that Bezos money.
Yeah, and, like, don't get me wrong, I don't know what's going on behind the scenes. I don't know how much money Amazon's allotting the Invincible crew, but, like, we could do a little better in the animation department, like, that's been the biggest critique since Season 1. Honestly, like, people talk about how good that first scene is with Omni-Man taking out the Guardians of the Globe. And by the way, spoilers. We're just going to jump straight into a lot of this shit.
Yeah, no, it's spoilers for everything, right?
Spoilers for everything.
If you please watch these shows before you watch this. Please.
Yeah, don't watch our thing and form an opinion because of what we said.
Yeah.
Just watch what you want to watch and enjoy it. And if you like or disagree with us, put it down in the comments. Whatever. Just engage. Let's have a discussion. I love to talk and hear from you guys. It'd be great. But when it comes to, like, the Invincible seasons, like, it's maintained the animation quality since day one, despite it being the biggest critique of the show. So I'm surprised that they haven't even, like, adjusted it at all. And I know that people were a little upset about the fact that Season 1 and Season 2 had such a big gap between those seasons. Do you remember that? Like, that was a big thing.
Was that COVID? Did COVID happen between those 2 seasons?
I can't remember, but people were really upset about it. And they were like, well, why is it taking so long to put out a blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, because I remember I watched Season 1 well after it came out, and I remember, waiting forever for Season 2, wondering if it actually was ever going to happen. It is kind of interesting to think of I think Invincible really does work as just like a 1-season miniseries.
Sometimes, yeah, but, like,
I'm happy it did get expanded.
Right, here's the thing about Invincible is that, like, that comic is so big and so grandiose and large that, like, it kind of needed those extra seasons, obviously. But, like, with Invincible Season 4, I had no real issues. People are crapping all over the Hell episode, and I don't mind that episode as much as other people do.
Honestly, I think the thing that bothered me more was the fact that they were doing a lot of fan servicey stuff in terms of bringing the Flaxons back, and they brought the Dragon back, and that whole, like, crime collective. Mm-hmm. And I think it's the whole thing to show that it's cyclical, right? Like, whatever Mark does, however Mark tries to help this world and this universe, it's just going to keep coming back. The cycle of violence does not stop, right? And I guess it's just to show that Mark is exhausted, right? That, like, it's just whatever he does, the Flaxons are just going to walk out of a portal one day, and this crime collective is just going to keep going. No matter how many times I kick these guys' ass, how many times I break them up, no matter what, they're just going to keep coming back. It's just, and I guess the whole thing was to emphasize that Mark is getting worn down. He can't keep doing it day in, day out, trying to save the world over and over again, and these same threats just keep coming back, and he can't stop it. I get that. But at the same time, it's like, come on, man, can we get some new ideas, right? And, like, I think the whole thing is Invincible is at its best when there's really solid, tight character moments, and I think, honestly, maybe this is part of the animation not being that great. The action between some of those character moments can sometimes just feel like whatever, like it just needs to be there. And again, Invincible has some great fights. The Conquest fight from Season 3 is fantastic, right? Omni-Man and Mark's brawl at the end of Season 1 is great, right? Like, the show is capable of great fights and great animation, but, like, I think in every fight, it's not like Jujutsu Kaisen, right? Where every fight in Jujutsu Kaisen is beautiful, right? It's like, in this, it's like, okay, the quality varies big and large. Where like you are just seeing PNGs getting dragged sometimes, and it's a little annoying. I will say with this season specifically, it was very backloaded. The first 4 episodes, like after the first 4 episodes, I was kind of getting a little bored because I was like, it just doesn't really feel like we're going anywhere. This just feels like Invincible, right? We're just like, Mark's just gonna fight shit again and again and again and again, right? And it's like, okay, where are we going? Where's the season going? And I think the 5th episode of this season was absolutely incredible. That was the episode where Omni-Man came back to Earth, right? He came back to Earth to tell Mark that,
hey, we need your help.
Hey, we need your help to fight the Viltrumites, right? That episode, that's going to get a perfect episode video. Like, that episode will get a perfect episode video.
It's really good.
It was so good.
That confrontation between him and Deb is just fucking incredible, you know?
It
that,
is.
like, you know, like, oh,
it's
you know.
bone-chilling.
Yeah. I can't pick up specific lines. It's been a while since I watched it. Maybe I should rewatch it for the video. But
me and you both, man.
Yeah, but that conversation was incredible. I loved the Sandra Oh's performance and J.K. Simmons. You know, like, and I like the not necessarily it just tied up. You know, like there's still conflict there. You know, like it's still.
I love the fact that Omni-Man really feels like he's facing consequences to what he did, right? Like, it's not just going to be like, oh, you apologize and everything's okay. And I like the fact that they made a real effort. Everyone did. Mark, Oliver, Debbie, they were all like, you doing this is self-serving. You're being a selfish bitch by doing this. You're doing this for yourself and for no one else. You killed thousands, millions of people, right? And yet you think you have the balls to come back here and apologize to me, and somehow that makes things okay? What is wrong with you, right? And I love how that scene works so well, right? Of just like Debbie telling him, like, you're a selfish asshole, right? Like, get the hell out of here, right?
That nothing's gonna change that.
Nothing is ever gonna change what you did. You did something that you can't take away, right? All of these lives that you ended is nothing that you can get back, right? And once that episode hit, it felt like a switch went off because everything after that episode was just so good.
Honestly, the Conquest 2 versus Mark.
Conquest 2 versus Mark. I loved how Oliver and Omni-Man really got a whole episode to develop together, where Oliver obviously distrusted Omni-Man a lot for abandoning him, for killing all of his people, including his mother.
Yes.
Like, obviously, I get it, right? There's so much distrust there, and Oliver is a teenager, and he's growing up incredibly quickly, right? And he's, you know, like, he's
there's a lot
Viltrum. I don't know what the bug species is called.
I don't. Thraxons.
Thraxons, that's right. The Thraxons, right? Like, this weird, like, mutant species, right? So that must be weird growing up like that. He has no one to really relate to. And, like, and I love how they got this whole episode where they can really learn to connect and train together and grow together. Where Mark was incapacitated. He couldn't really get in the way. So they had this whole episode where they can train together and grow together for the upcoming conflict, right? Which was fantastic. Omni-Man's development arc throughout that season was the best part of that entire. It's honestly,
I can agree with that.
Best part of the season, but honestly might be the best part of the show for me, right? Like, his comeback is great. Him learning things about himself and going through these layers of introspection, right? And the way the show handles it with so much nuance and just so much there. I'm in love with it, right? I really am.
I mean, J.K. Simmons.
And J.K. Simmons.
Awesome. Let's look at the performance here. J.K. Simmons is just fucking incredible, as always is. You know, like, he never misses. You know, let's start with his early career, you know, stuff with, like, you know, J. Jonah Jameson, whatever. His performances lead something.
Give me videos of Spider-Man.
I need some pictures of Spider-Man. Like, you know, like, we love J.K. Simmons, and he never misses. And he definitely does not hold back with Omni-Man.
Whiplash. Oh my God, that's
exactly.
That's one of the best villain roles of all time, right? Like,
really
he is just bone chilling. Like, oh my God.
What is this with J.K. Simmons and being just a presence in a room? You know, like,
and he's just in so much random stuff. Like, he's Tenzin in Korra, and Tenzin is the best part of Korra, right?
For us Ghostbusters fans out there, he's also Ivo Shandor, who's the architect that built the original building Ghostbusters 1. He's in Ghostbusters
I know, of
Afterlife as that
course.
character. It's really funny to pop him up every once in a while and be like, that's J.K. Simmons, right? But to get back to Invincible.
Evan, we are farmers.
Bum, ba-dum, bum, 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 bum. Yeah, for real. Like, to go back to...
we are brainwashed, sorry.
Yeah, we are. We are the byproduct of the early 2000s. You know what I mean? Like,
a little bit.
You know, like, we bring it up quite a bit in videos, I think, that we're
we're children of the 2000s.
Yeah, we're
children of
we're the
Y2K.
millennial generation, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, so, that happens. But to go back to Invincible, I would love to say that this is probably one of my favorite last episodes of a season. Don't get me wrong, I love the episode between Conquest and
I love
Mark
the
at the end of
fight.
season 3.
I love the Viltrumite fight. I love them blowing up Viltrum was awesome. I remember I was working. It was like 7 in the morning, and I was working out. I was at the gym, and I remember I was on the treadmill just watching. I was like, because it was just getting bigger and bigger. I'm like, oh my god, they're gonna Death Star this planet. They're gonna blow up this planet, right? Like,
yeah, and as soon as you know exactly what's gonna happen, as soon as Mark or Omni-Man goes, come here, Mark, we're gonna do something, and he pulls the 3 strongest people there, the 3 Viltrumites on his side, and just crushed through the planet, and obviously that like sent chills down my spine. It was incredible, but I just want to congratulate this last episode for holding restraint. Because I don't know if you noticed, every last episode of the Invincible series
has been the big fight.
Has a big fight. You know, so season 1, Omni-Man versus Mark. Season 2, Angstrom versus Mark. Then season 3, Conquest versus Mark. This one did not have a fight.
It was very subversive.
But a fucking awesome conversation between him and Thrag. Thrag being like, first off, also, Lee Pace, fucking awesome performance. Great. I can't complain about the voice cast. Yes, I would love to see more voice actors in there as the voice actor guy. But
Invincible's a great cast.
Invincible's got a great cast, and they know what to do. Lee Pace is fucking awesome as Thrag. But just like him coming up to Mark and being like, we're going to live here. We're going to restart our civilization. And if you don't do what we say, we're just going to fucking murder everybody. You know, like, it's...
And what can you do at that point?
You know, and what can you do at that point? What can you do in Mark's position?
I love how just, like... I don't love it, because I want to root for Mark. But, like, when Mark comes back, he's just broken. He's just... He has such a strong CPTSD, right? And he's just broken. He doesn't know what to do. He sees shadows in every corner. He sees Thrag in every corner. He doesn't... I love how they do it like 6 times where Thrag just comes back and then he's hallucinating, and then they do it and he's like, I'm real, right? And they do it at the end. And like it's interesting how, like, you know, I can't remember everyone of the show. The dude who leads the superheroes forces, the dude who teleports.
The dude that are you talking about Cecil?
Cecil. I love how Cecil's trying to like talk to Mark about like what's the next steps, what are we doing next, like what happened, and you briefing for him. And Mark's like, I can't do it. Right? Mark is just broken, right? And I think
it's also nice to see when Cecil is being a human.
It is.
You know, like, you know, Cecil being like, dude, you need help. Like, you there's something wrong.
And I
obviously,
think
like,
the
you know,
next season is going to be big in rebuilding their relationship, where Cecil's going to have to work between Mark and between the Viltrumites, right? Because they can't leave and they can't do anything about it. Cecil can't do anything about it, right?
yeah, I'm really excited to see where this goes, which is a nice place to put the end of your show.
It is,
you know,
yeah.
at the end of the season, being like, what's going to happen next? You know, Invincible for me has always stayed pretty consistent in quality. So, like...
This is my favorite season so far, though. Especially the end. It is a little backloaded, but I would say this is probably my favorite season so far.
That's crazy, because I think season 1's my favorite. Followed by this season, to be honest. But, like, I think that, like, you know, it's been a while since I watched a show, and at the end of it, I'm like, I want more. You know, like, I could go for more. I could ingest more of this content. It's the first time in a while since Invincible has been making me want to reread the comic. You know, like,
which is, I've heard, is not that good.
Well, the comic is a product of its time. You know what I mean? Like, you can't be like, well, this is a all white male cast, you know, or whatever, right? It was made in 2002 or whatever. Like, I can't remember exactly. Sorry, Invincible comic fans. But like, you can't deny it. It's the same thing with Harry Potter. Like, you know, as much as J.K. Rowling likes to rewrite her characters to be more inclusive, you know. That's neither here nor there. We don't like J.K. Rowling. that transphobe piece of shit. But like
asshole.
it's that like so Robert Kirkman actually has a chance to rewrite and redo his story in a more inclusive and more inviting light, making what's his nuts Will his best friend gay, was not in the comics, stuff like that, or at least not originally in the comics. I don't remember. I haven't read most of Invincible in a long time, but it's just nice to see that this cast does feel more real and tangible, and I appreciate that Invincible is doing more, and I appreciate the fact that I want to be more into the story.
I do
like
too.
it's nice to have a show where I'm like, I want to see where this goes. I want to continue with this. I want to see how Thrag gets defeated because that's the hero story.
Or is Thrag even going to be defeated? Right? Like I think that's the question of like what happens next year, right? Because they obviously recreate the virus that killed all the Viltrumites. The Viltrumites are on Earth, right? And I don't think the Coalition of Planets knows that the Viltrumites are there yet. But, like, what do you have? You have all these Viltrumites. Their society's broken. They're trying to restart. They're trying to get grounded again and trying to build again. You have Mark, who is just broken. He's completely broken. And he's trying to rebuild his relationship with Eve. And, like, he's just trying to get himself centered again. He was gone for 9 months, right? And what is going to happen, right? Like, how are we going to do this? Is the Scourge virus going to come to Earth and the Coalition of Planets is going to kill everybody? Like, how is this, how are we going to navigate this with Alan?
And now, are we going to even bring the Coalition? Is Alan just going to drop it off?
Who knows?
I love Alan this season. He's got great jokes. There was a bit overplayed in that one episode where
they were just fucking too.
They were fucking the entire time, yeah. Like, how many times are you going to play that joke over and over again?
It was a bit
that felt like a Seth Rogen joke. You know what I mean? Like,
well, it was.
You know what I mean? I mean, obviously Seth Rogen plays Alan, but like, it felt like a joke he would make in a movie 20 years ago. You know what I mean? Like it felt like a joke that Seth Rogen was better than now.
Probably
because we'll come back to Seth Rogen a little bit here with The Boys.
Yeah.
But like, he's gotten a little better than that. I feel like that joke was overplayed. It was a little weird, but it's fine.
What would you give this season of Invincible? You think?
I think since you want to do like more of like a letter rating scale, right?
Yeah, more on the.
We're gonna keep it on the letter rating scale here. I'm gonna give Invincible season 4 a solid A minus maybe.
I would
leaning
probably
into
give
B
it.
plus.
I would probably give it an A minus, right? Like I think it's right there. I really love this season. It definitely has its problems, but just some of these character moments, man, are just so impactful. Oh, I didn't even bring this up with Nolan and the best character moment this entire season. Before I move on, I need to bring this up. When Nolan talks. That's the thing. That's what Han Solo rides in episode 5, right?
That's a fucking that's a
tauntaun.
Tauntaun.
That's a
fake fan. Fake fan. I'm gonna talk about Maul Shadowlord. Doesn't even know what a fucking tauntaun is.
I know what a goddamn tauntaun is.
Doesn't even know what a fucking tauntaun is. No, you're fine. Okay.
No. But what I was gonna say, Nolan with Mark Hamill's character, the costume character.
Art.
It was art. That was my favorite character moment of the entire season. I loved it. I love how
that's a great interaction.
I loved how Nolan got to sit down with him and he wanted to just talk with him like things were normal again. Again, I think coming back to Earth, you just wanted to feel just a little bit of a tiny sense of normalcy, right? And when he sat down with Art, he's trying to talk to him, things are trying to be normal, and Art was talking shit on his costume, and he told Art, he was like, hey, like, you can make me a new costume. And Art says, I make costumes for heroes. And that moment just hit so hard.
Hold on. I'm gonna walk away from my microphone for a second.
Fuck! Yes!
Yeah, it's so good. Honestly, I guess it might be out by the time this comes out. A little inside baseball. We're gonna do a Mark Hamill video about his roles, and that's one of my favorite scenes of his is him coming up to Nolan and being like, yeah, I make hero costumes for heroes. And like, it definitely shows that like Mark, especially since Art made a new costume for him anyways in that season, it's nice that like Art had that scene where he's like, yeah, here, Invincible, I think you're a hero, so here's your costume. And then being like, well, Nolan, you're not a fucking hero.
You killed millions of people.
You killed thousands of people, or that scene with him and Cecil in that episode too. Honestly, like that entire episode's fucking incredible. But
that's again perfect episode video.
Perfect episode, yes. And I love that episode particularly because of a lot of the interactions that he got to have, especially. And maybe I'm just a Cecil lover, but Cecil in that episode is great because it's like,
that's
are you a threat? Nolan's like, no. Well, okay, good, that's fine. But
that's Walter Goggins, right?
That's Walter Goggins.
Yeah, he doesn't miss.
Does not miss. I mean, the comeback to like shows we're watching outside of this, Fallout season 2 is incredible.
I need to actually watch Fallout season 2.
Fucking so good.
You've watched it?
Yes.
Good shit.
My girlfriend is a huge Fallout fan. She loves it, so we had to watch it as weekly as possible. You know what I mean? So,
I love the first season. I definitely need to watch it.
I won't spoil too much, but Deathclaws are fucking incredible.
Oh, Deathclaws are awesome.
Exactly.
Man, they kicked my ass in Fallout 4, though.
Oh my god.
But no, yeah. Invincible, I'll give it an A-. It was great.
Yeah, and then let's move on to the next show. If we're gonna wrap that up there. He's sighing because it's The Boys.
Okay. So for the longest time, I have stand the fuck out of this show. The first 2 seasons of The Boys are special, right? Of just like, they hit right at this perfect time of MCU exhaustion, of when people wanted something just a little bit subversive about superheroes, something just a little bit different. And The Boys comes in, it's like, hey, fuck the superheroes, right? Creates this realistic universe of how superheroes would interact with our world and creates a really solid commitment to making this world feel so realistic to our universe, right? Mm-hmm. And I love the commitment to just making it as realistic as possible. I love the anti-capitalistic and anti-consumerist message that happens, especially in these first 2 seasons. That's why I have the first 2 seasons on DVD, right? This is some special stuff, right? I love this. I will say it's definitely not nuanced at all, but that is kind of the point. But the minute they did that dick joke in season 3 where his dick explodes, I knew it was going downhill. And it was. From that moment, The Boys just became an absurdism simulator of just like, we're just going to make things as absurd as possible. Just keep going and going and going and going. And just the absurdism existed to prove that the elite don't have morals. They can afford to not have morals or principles and can just act totally and completely on what they want at any given moment, right? That's why it was there. That's why when Huey walks into the soup brothel in episode 1, that's what that proves, is that these guys don't have morals or principles. They can do whatever they want. They can do whatever sick, twisted, fucked up shit they want. It doesn't matter, right? But that message was just completely lost in the sake of just getting TikTok clips of crazy shit, right? And I think season 5, in a lot of ways, very feels like the culmination of that. Right? Mm-hmm. Where this season should have a lot of these great character moments as we're closing out these characters and their arcs, but it just doesn't. We have Kamiko talking for the first time, right? And I think you could do so much of a character that's been mute for 4 seasons, right? Of what she's been thinking and what she's been feeling, and she feels like she can't talk to the rest of her team. She can't talk to her boyfriend, Frenchie, right? But no, she has to say some stupid-ass Gen Z absurdism, raunchy humor over and over again that feels like an ice pick through your ear, right? And
honestly, the writing is not strong this season. I don't love a lot of the jokes, and this is coming from somebody who thought the jokes at one point were really funny. Like they actually put in a lot of effort and time into creating a well-crafted setup punchline joke, and it just doesn't work as well in most of these newer seasons. Like from season 3 on, like you said. And Kimiko really got the short end of the stick in this season because it is the first time she's talking, and it's the first time you get to hear her voice and like have her express her feelings.
I feel like there's so much you can do with that.
I feel like there's so much you can do with that, but now she's just one of the boys who's making dick jokes and talking about buttholes and stuff. Like, look, I will sit here and I'm not going to say this is the worst season of The Boys. Honestly, people are drawing a lot of comparisons between this and season 5 of Stranger Things, both being 5-season shows that have had their like final season being the 5th one, and their endings being divisive. Right?
Also, I just got to put it out there as a fan of this show. This is nowhere near as bad as season 8 of Game of Thrones. That doesn't make any sense. Season 8 of Game of Thrones makes 0 sense. For anyone who's saying that, you're wrong. Like, this is better than that. But, like, still, it's one of those things where, like, what is The Boys still trying to say? We have this whole idea of fuck capitalism, fuck consumerism, fuck the soups, right? Fuck the superheroes, right? And what they stand for, right? But like, is that message still here? Because now Butcher's a soup, and now we have Kamiko here, and we have Annie here, and now we're talking about this whole message of like, well, do we want to kill all the soups? Do we want to do that because we're in love with these people? So like, where is the messaging at this point? Is there good soups and bad soups? It's the messaging feels messy. Everything about the boys feels messy, right? Like, and again, what are you trying to say? And I wonder if they got lost in this idea and just leaned on the absurdism to fill in the gaps, and it just doesn't work.
A lot of that is a lot of being just kind of lost in its own self. I mean, I think Eric Kripke just gets lost in himself a lot, because like towards his end of Supernatural, when he got to the end of where he was at, it just became the same way. But like, I mean, this season is not without its praises. I think some of these filler episodes aren't too bad. I like the episode where it's like the Tales of Ba Sing Se, where it's
very much like the Tales of Ba Sing Se,
where it's very different perspectives. You get Firecracker, you get Terror, you get Ashley. I think
Ashley, yeah,
you get some backstory stuff between those characters. I think it's fun. I really like. I'm honestly going to sit here. I'm not going to say too many stellar things about the finale, but I liked it. I think it's not terrible. I think that the first episode of this season was pretty solid. I think the first two episodes were pretty solid.
Yes, I will say, the first two episodes of this season gave me a lot of false hope, right? Because, like, the biggest problem with The Boys over the past 3 seasons was the relentless need to make this universe bigger, right? Bring in more characters, more plot lines, more ideas, right? And it just becomes so much of a mess for Kripke and this writing team to try to manage like 40, 50 superheroes and ideas and like 7 or 8 plot lines at once, right? That it just becomes a mess, that no one has any arcs, that there's no progression of these characters really, because there's just so much happening. In season 1 and 2 of The Boys, when it was just The Boys and the Soups, and there was like an ABC plot, it worked fantastically. The show felt focused. It felt like it had a direction. It felt incredibly well paced, very fast and fluid pacing. Nowadays, the pacing doesn't exist anymore because there's no progression, right? And it feels like the story just doesn't go anywhere. Again, it just feels like it's a vehicle for dick jokes sometimes, and it's annoying, right? And like my whole point of this, the first 2 episodes of The Boys felt like that first season. It was so fast. It was so focused, right? Like breaking them out of the concentration camp that they're in. Like it felt real. It felt like the stakes were real, right? Because we're in the 5th season. You don't know who's going to die. A-Train's death was fantastic. He felt like one of the few characters in this show who actually had a really solid, convincing arc, right?
Honestly, yeah. Shout out to the performance of that actor. I forgot his name. He does a great job. I think Anthony Starr is still firing on all cylinders as much as he can. I don't think I was thinking about it. I think the script really does not help him.
No.
Play a
script's not helping anybody.
No, the script's not helping anybody. But like for particularly Homelander, it does feel a little weak. Like I was thinking about it. This season particularly was pretty harsh on Homelander, being like. Everybody just thought he was a joke at this point. Like everybody, like it might be part of the point of it, but like Anthony Starr, like there should be, when he gets the V1, he should be a fucking menace.
When he gets the V, there should have just been a point in this season where Homelander just starts murdering everybody. Right? Like, we never hit the point where Homelander just went on a murder spree. Like, I know he hit Ultimate God Complex, but like, I feel like for his death to be as satisfying as we want it to be, I feel like he should have went and just destroyed all of Chicago. Just took it out of
whole scene. A scene like Omni-Man's in Invincible Season 1.
Exactly.
Like...
And it's just like, he should have went to Starlight or Sanctuary City and just leveled it, right? Like, right. I feel like if you really wanted to sell this character as demented as he is, right, as just so far gone, past the point of recognition, right, like, you should have done that, and they didn't, right? And also, too, like, one of the best parts of the season is when Homelander's defeated, and he's humiliated, right? Like, he's humiliated. He's begging Butcher not to kill him, and, like... And I really wish we got like a whole episode for him to be humiliated like that. For him to just be laid out wide of just like all you were the superpowers. It was nothing else, right?
Here's the thing about, and I'm going to kind of jump all the way to that last episode because that's, I think, the one with the most
happening.
Yeah, exactly right. Like, I think you said it best once. We were having a conversation one time outside the camera, and we were talking about it. And The Boys season 5 feels like you can watch the first 2 episodes, the last 2 episodes, and get all you need. Right?
You had the best take with it. Just making a movie.
I can always say that. Always making a movie. Why not? You know what I mean? Like, hour and a half, 2 hour movie would have been perfect. But for the product we got, I have to say that last episode's not terrible.
It's what you expected.
But it's very generic.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, it's very, like, we knew this was going to happen. You know, like, by the end of Supernatural, you know, like, for us Supernatural fans, we knew Dean was going to die. Again, spoilers. But we knew Dean was going to die. That was inevitable. The same thing with this show. We knew Billy was going to die. We knew Homelander was going to die. And we knew we were going to have a fake out death.
Yeah. You mean Frenchie, but yeah, I get what you're saying.
Well, we have going to have another death that's like Frenchie.
Yeah.
You know, like one character we've had since the beginning at the end, we have like, oh no. For Supernatural, that was Castiel. For this, was Frenchie. For the rest of the season, obviously, it's Billy and Homelander both die. Like, it just felt very generic. You know, like, I honestly am happy with the fact that it's generic. I hate to say that, but like, with how the trajectory of this series has gone from that downfall from season 3, the fact that we ended on a note where I'm like, okay, this could have been way worse, is something that I'm not going to complain about.
Honestly, you're right, and like, I watched the ending and I just really had nothing to say. Right?
Yeah, that's kind of the biggest sin.
It was whatever, right? It was just, and again, like, you could tell Kripke comes from the CW. I think that was a big takeaway I had from this, is that the ending just felt very CW, just super safe, and also too, like, this whole my biggest gripes with this season, this whole season felt like it was setting up for Vault Rising. This whole scene felt like an advertisement for Vault Rising, which was so stupid, man. Because this is your last season. This is where you should be killing people off. This is where you should be ending arcs. This is where the show should be getting smaller as it gets toward the end. But The Boys' relentless need to just be big and massive, and have all these characters and all these things going on, is just never ending, right? And we're bringing in all these characters that are going to be in Vault Rising. We're like, who the hell is this guy, right? Like,
who's Bombsight?
Yeah, Bombsight. I was going to say, who is this guy? Why is he here, right? Like, again, like, why are we doing this? And again, it's all just this fucking setup for Vault Rising. It's Amazon looking you in the face like, hey, this universe isn't done.
We have products. We have products we need to sell. We don't bring this.
They're coming. Keep paying Prime. Keep paying for your Prime subscription, right? You know what's coming next, right? Like, it's just relentless, right? They just want to relentlessly shove in your face that The Boys is ending, but we're still going to keep doing stuff with this universe, right? And also, too, bringing back the Gen V characters after that show got canceled was so stupid, right? Like, why?
I feel terrible for those Gen V actors. Because, like, they probably shot this thinking they were going to get another season of Gen V, for them to cancel it in the middle of this season.
In the middle of the airing of this season, right?
Exactly. You know, like,
brutal. And the thing is, this may be a hot take, but I really like season 2 of Gen V. I think season 2 of Gen V felt super focused. It didn't feel fluffy at all. There wasn't a lot of bullshit going on. The plot just felt focused. It felt like it knew what it was doing. It felt like we spent the first full season really interested in these characters. But once we got there in season 2, I love the villain from season 2. He's fantastic. Godolkin, he's great. Spoilers. Regardless. But, like, again, like, I really liked where Gen V was going. It sucks that it got canceled. And, like, again, I feel bad. Of course, we have to be reminded that it got canceled by Marie Moreau being here, right? And it's like, why are we doing this?
You know, the subtle nods to anything that happened in Gen V, you know?
Exactly.
Because I think they show that character as, like, a billboard or like a blink and you'll miss a cameo kind of thing. Like, you know, it sucks because, like, I'm going to be honest with you, this just feels complete. I don't have any more questions. No. I don't have any more, like, want for that. You know, like, it's one of those things where, like, I finished this series and I'm like, okay, I'm done. It's like holding on to something and you let go. You know,
I said this to many times. I remember the week before the last episode dropped. It very much felt like walking into the theater to see episode 9 Rise of Skywalker. Right? Mm-hmm. Like, I feel an obligation to finish this. I feel like an obligation to see this through, knowing that it's gonna suck. Knowing that it's going to be miserable. And, you know, most people say Rise of Skywalker is the worst Star Wars movie, which it probably is. And, like, I felt an obligation to see it through. I did not care at all. I just wanted it to be over. I was just done, right? And that's what I felt about this. I have no more questions. I have no more need to be in this universe. I just don't care anymore. Right?
And that sucks because they did push Vault Rising so hard.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna sit here and be honest. I don't see Vault Rising being more than just the one season.
Probably not.
They might get the numbers to do another season, or it might already been in greenlit. I don't know, but I don't have any more questions. I'm done. I'm done. And look, I will never not appreciate The Boys. It's
especially
one of
those first 2 seasons.
Those first 2 seasons are fantastic. I'm just okay with saying I'm okay to finish this. I'm done.
Honestly,
I don't need to ask any more questions.
Part of me wishes that and I talked with you about this of the arcs weren't perfect and there was probably more to say and more to do, but you really could have ended this at the end of season 3, right? If Soldier Boy killed Homelander at the end of season 3, you probably could have wrapped it. Right, because what really happened in season 4 and 5?
I'm gonna be 100% honest. This is blatantly honest to the viewers at home. I didn't finish season 4. I did not finish season 4.
It sucks.
I watched a recap at the beginning of season 5 and just finished the rest of the series because it just doesn't work for me.
Doesn't.
A lot of those jokes aren't funny anymore, and
what is
it overstayed its play. It stayed its place,
And it feels like it's just generic, right? It really feels like The Boys is just falling into there's some fucked up dude who supports Vought here who has this thing that we need in this corner of the United States, and we're gonna go over there and we're gonna beat the piss out of him and we're gonna get that, and then on to the next episode do the same thing over again. And once you get
in the middle of that, it's piss butt joke.
Literally. And once you get, and again, the perfect thing about seasons 1, 2, and 3 is that it felt like they had very strong central plots of progression and who we're up against and character arcs throughout the seasons. Once you get to 4, it very much feels like that's just done. We're just moving episode to episode aimlessly, which is kind of similar to Supernatural in a lot of ways.
That's kind of where Supernatural kind of lost its luster, coming from somebody who's watched the entire series twice.
Which I will never do that.
Nobody... I watch Supernatural like people watch ER or Grey's Anatomy or people who watch The Office frequently. I just turn it on because it's easy to turn my brain off and just enjoy it. Eric Kripke is great for the week Supernatural monster stuff, but I don't think he's good with a overarching narrative with deep character arcs. And I think I told you this. I don't think he's good at writing characters who have a good character arc. I mean, it's possible. We like A-Train. We like Frenchie. I think Frenchie's kind of come full circle.
What circle, though? Right? Where was his character
going? Circle!
Circle!
Right.
Where was his character going, right? Because, again, that Frenchie felt so aimless in this show. And they even joked about it of, you are Butcher's lapdog, right? Because it very much felt they hinted at it of you could be more than just Butcher's bitch, right? You could do more than this, and he just never does. He's always Butcher's always Monsieur Chocolat, right? And it's just all right, we're back to this. And
that's fair.
There's so many times when it feels Frenchie can just be more than what he is, right? He turns himself in for killing all those people. He runs away with that boyfriend that he had at one point. He tries to run away with Kimiko, right? There's so many opportunities and times for him to leave, but it feels like he just stays here. He very much just feels like a plot propellant, right? It's just we need Frenchie to do this. We need Frenchie now that the one dude is gone. We need Frenchie to make the virus, right? It's just he just feels here to push the plot forward. And again, his character doesn't really feel like when he goes anywhere. When he dies, it's okay. Right? Because, it doesn't really feel like anything was achieved by his character.
Right. And I'm just saying, it comes back to this point where it's Eric Kripke knows how to make a defined character. He does not know how to write a growing character.
That's a good point.
I bring it back to Supernatural because they're the same show.
It's the other Kripke show, yeah.
The other Kripke show. Sam and Dean, they're so defined by what they are. Sam is a bookworm who takes everything so seriously, and he's there to look at the journals and do research and figure out what's going on. While Dean is there as the muscle and the comic relief. Those are the two characters. his other two best characters are Billy Butcher and Homelander, who Homelander stays an egotistical baby the entire show, and Butcher is a megalomaniac who's also a fucking serial killer.
Yes.
You know, like, those are his best characters, and he just does. I don't see him creating the best arching characters with growing personalities and kind of like, you know, that kind of stuff. And then he has a hard time writing defined characters that don't have the same joke. You know, like,
that's a good point. Where they're just one note.
They're all one note. Yeah, thank you. I was trying to figure out the word for
it.
One note.
You were getting there. You were circling around it.
Thank you very much.
I try.
But yeah, all his characters are very one note. You know, that's why Kimiko makes those stupid jokes that we hate. You know, like,
because what else is she gonna be? Right?
What else is she gonna be? Because Annie started making those jokes too. But like, Annie in the beginning of the series was, I wouldn't say a Christian girl, but like, you know, like.
And the thing with Annie is that she had one of the most interesting character arcs of the show. Of like, you know, she was just a wide-eyed girl from Des Moines who just wanted the best for people. She wanted to save people, right? And again, like, I'm gonna make a perfect video episode about the first episode of The Boys, and that's like a big part of it, is that like she's so authentic to herself and her empathy, and that she wants to help people, right?
Yes.
And of course, it has its own justifications against Christianity and all that, but like. And when she gets to Vought, when she joins the Seven, it's very much her learning that there's no authenticity here. That there's no realness here. That everything is performative and everything is fake. And that you either fit this or you leave. Right? There's no in between. And like her learning.
And if you don't conform to what their standards are.
That her holding her character to herself, her holding her principles and morals to herself is going to require her to take down Vought. And her learning that over the course of the first, second, and third seasons is fantastic. And I think once you get to season 3 and she goes through her whole tiff with Huey, right, where like sorry. Huey has done nothing this season so far that we have not talked about the main character until now. His name was not brought up until now. That's how little...
Shout out to Jack Quaid for being fucking awesome.
It's a great performance. It's a great performance.
But like...
But what has he done the last 2 seasons?
Dead ass nothing. You know, like...
Done nothing. Right? And it's like...
The most impactful thing he's done in the last 2 seasons is kill Billy.
And it's like...
You know, like... Is that really what you're going to do to one of your main characters of the show?
The main character of the show,
main character of the show. He's he's our audience surrogate.
Yes.
You know, like, we don't get invited into this world until his world is shattered. So, like, it's so upsetting to see that Jack Quaid, an actor of his caliber, does not get anything to do except talk at Frenchie's eulogy, which, by the way, we didn't bring this up
was one of the worst scenes of that whole fucking season.
You could not have the seriousness enough to give one of your main characters of your show a proper and excellent funeral. You gave one to Billy, who was a megalomaniac and a fucking serial killer, but Frenchie, who was genuinely trying to be a good person, it's like talking about buttholes. Why is that? Why is that here?
In middle school, right? Like, oh my god, it's just so obnoxious.
Listen, buttholes are as funny as you can make them. You know, let's not put a point around the butthole.
I'm gonna be fair. I love buttholes.
I love buttholes. Clip it, TikTok. Clip it.
Clip it. Just like how the boys want you to clip it.
Shit. But like, you know, like it's just so disrespectful. And if I were an actor in that show and I had my funeral scene be done like that, I'd be upset for my character. I'd be like, excuse me, I'm one of the main characters of the fucking show and you're going to treat me like this? Excuse me. You know, like, it's just upsetting because, like, I maybe I just like Frenchie a lot. I've always kind of really liked his character. But it doesn't do anything for me, and like that scene is just so disrespectful to that character. It's like, is that really all you're gonna give that character, and also give Huey, who is the main character, who's our audience surrogate, who is one of the main characters of the show, one of the driving plot points, you know? So yeah, I don't know. It's poor execution of a series. It's poor execution of a story. I wish they could have done better. as a fan of the series.
And there's other problems with the season 2. I feel like Soldier Boy didn't have enough to do, especially when you have Jensen Ackles, who's such a great actor.
Oh my god, yes. Honestly,
he just
he's
doesn't
electric.
do enough. And the one scene everyone's gonna remember him is just, it's what Clara would have wanted.
What a fucking meme, dude! Like, what a meme! What a meme!
And it's like that scene again. That scene makes no sense, right? Because like. What? Like, how would you know what Clara would have wanted, right? Why is this happening now? You hate Soldier Boy. You don't want him to win, right? And now you hand him this fucking, what was it? The Gen 1?
The Generation 1, Gen 1, Gen V. Oh.
Whatever it's called. Whatever paper tiger.
MacGuffin.
Insert paper tiger here, right?
For real, though.
Like whatever it is, right? Because it didn't end up mattering in the end anyway. Same with the virus, right? None of it ended up mattering. And it's like, why would you even give it to him? And then of course you just like, all right, I'm gonna head out, right? Literally just like SpongeBob,
right?
All right, I'm gonna head out, right?
The dead ass.
Literally that, and it's like, what are we doing here, right? Like, what is happening? And it's so stupid. And also, like, I have to bring it up. This fourth, whatever episode was in that hospital basement, that drove me crazy.
Oh, where they're purposely putting each other's throats or whatever?
Yeah. Because, you have Homelander upstairs with his super hearing and his supervision. I'm sure y'all remember the second episode of the show where we're spending the entire episode trying to figure out how we're going to kill Translucent and not have Homelander here. And it's so deliciously tense, right? The scene where Frenchie is talking to Homelander out of his van and he's lying his ass off, trying to make sure that they can't hear Translucent downstairs. They can't hear what's going to happen. They're trying to throw Homelander off the scent, right? They're doing everything in their power. There's so much respect for Homelander's powers and abilities and how we're going to work around it, which is so cool. That's so much fun. That's such a great time, right? It makes that episode work so well, right? And now it doesn't even matter. His powers don't even matter. His powers are just there when they're plot convenient, right? Like, it doesn't even matter. These characters can be shooting each other and screaming, and it's not going to matter because, because it's not plot convenient at the time. And it's so stupid. The plot is lost. Everything is lost. And it pisses me off because I love this show. And I love the first 2 seasons of it. And it's just like, I hate it. I hate it.
Yeah. I mean, let's give a letter rating real quick. And then we'll move on to Maul. I'm giving The Boys season 5, the final season, a D+, C-.
D+. I'm with you, D+.
The D+, C-. Like, I mean, I'm not trying to sit here and complain about the entirety. I liked the joke with the different comedians around the table. I liked the Supernatural reunion. I like seeing Misha Collins with Jensen Ackles.
I love
with
those
Jared
first 2
Padalecki.
episodes. I'm with you on that.
The first 2 episodes are great. I think that the fact that the last episode came together as well as it did turned out really well. Like, to look at the positives, but obviously we've been talking about negatives this entire time. You've heard us bitch about it. The humor is not there. The writing is not there. Most of the season didn't matter. Most of it's MacGuffins and throwaway plot lines.
But also just like everyone, and it wasn't just me who felt tired. It honestly felt like this cast was tired too.
Yeah,
I think a lot of people were phoning in this season.
I think that Jack Wade was a little done.
I think Erin Moriarty. I think her script direction was bad, but I also think she was phoning it in too.
I think she was done.
She was done. Her whole character just felt done. She just felt checked out.
The worst person to do it to is Anthony Starr,
who's been putting his whole pussy into the show.
He really has, and it sucks because like the writing is not helping him this season, and his character just feels so flat. So I think he knew that he was done. I think most of his cast felt just like. We're gonna talk about Maul, who is this is probably the strongest show out of the 3 we're talking about. Just to kind of put it out there.
Okay, most Star Wars sucks.
This would probably be us talking about Star Wars and how we feel about it a little bit
there's
podcast.
Gonna be a lot of that.
The preface is that me and you arguably have a very similar take on Star Wars, where Star Wars is not that good except for when it's fucking generational.
It literally, and it's like, again, most Star Wars sucks, right? Being a Star Wars fan is realizing that most Star Wars sucks. It's the unfortunate truth of the matter.
Right.
But then you get a Star Wars The Clone Wars. Then you get an Andor. And then you get a Maul. And it makes you believe again. It pulls you right back into that universe, and it makes it feel so cool again. Darth Maul is one of the greatest things to happen to Star Wars in the last 20 years, especially with his VA as well.
I would say last 15 because
15.
I argue that like Darth Maul is so inconsequential to the Phantom
prequels.
Menace. You know what I mean?
15 with Clone Wars, yeah, exactly.
So like, let's start with the Clone Wars here. The Clone Wars brings back Darth Maul, and Darth Maul is fucking sick. He's broken. He's got these fucking horns. He's got robot spider legs. You're like, what the fuck happened to this guy? You know?
He is living completely and totally in his dark side hate of Obi-Wan Kenobi.
And you're like, fuck, dude, this is so good. You know, like, they give so much character and depth.
What's his voice actor again? You're going to have to
Sam Witwer.
Sam Witwer, thank
Let's
you.
shout out fucking Sam Witwer.
I'm going to say it. My favorite voice acting performance of all time.
He's pretty solid.
It's just like his role in this masterpiece. But as well in this, it's just like, I've watched the interviews with him where he talks about his portrayal of Maul and like the commitment to the craft of making this role, of making what it is
I don't
astounding.
know a stupid amount about Sam Witwer. He has always been a Star Wars fan first. Obviously,
he's such a Star Wars fanboy.
Yeah, he got into this universe around with Filoni and them, kind of like in the same boat. You know, like they believe in what George Lucas is doing, but they all know that George Lucas can't write a fucking script, right? And so, like, you know, he knows what's happening. He's got a really good understanding and grasp of those characters, of, like, Star Wars and, like, how it works and how it plays, right? So he also knows how Maul works, which is really important because if you guys don't know, I don't know the Greek story. I can't remember. I should have researched this beforehand. But Darth Maul is destined to always be a character that rolls a boulder up a hill and for it to inevitably fall back down.
Right?
Like, Darth Maul is never meant to be.
He kills Qui-Gon Jinn just to get cut in half by Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Exactly.
He takes over Mandalore just for the Republic to invade and destroy it.
Right?
Like, over and over again.
He manages to escape, but be a fugitive of the law, you know, like, under the Empire, you know? Like, he becomes a Shadow Lord, but he still fucking dies, right? Like, everything for every step forward Maul takes is 10 steps back, and this show knows exactly that.
It's,
you know,
such a good character dissection of what Maul is. It's exactly what it needed to be, right? Where it's like, we're taking this character and we're going to dissect him and break him down to every element, right? And like, I think there is something to be said that like it makes Maul look weak. I hate that argument because I don't think it's true. Because Maul gets his ass kicked a lot in this season, but I think that is just Maul. He's constantly struggling. He's constantly fighting. He's constantly surviving. Because that's all he can do. That's all he can do. Again and again and again. Everyone's going to disappoint him. Everyone's going to backstab him. Everyone's going to leave. All he has, or die, right? All he has is himself, right? And like, there's so many elements of the show I wish they really dug full in on. Right, like the first time he captures Devin and he brings her to his base and he tries to train her, and he very much sits down with his tea and he goes, "This is probably not what you think it'd be like." And I think Filoni kind of has an aversion to really diving into the potential nuances of Star Wars, right? And sometimes he does. Sometimes he completely dives into making this universe feel very nuanced, right? Like I think of the last arc of season 6 of Clone Wars where he's talking about Force ghosts and he's really diving deep on the concept of the Force and life after death for Jedi, right? I think there are moments when he does it, but like I really wish he dived full on that Maul at this point in his life has been betrayed by the light side of the Force, by the dark side of the Force, by everyone, right? He has to create his own construction of the Force outside of the light side of the dark side, outside of the Jedi and the Sith. He exists differently than Ahsoka as his, not even a great Jedi or a dark Jedi or anything like that. Completely, because
let's just put this out here.
His own creation.
I'm just going to say this: Great Jedi is kind of a stupid concept.
Really?
Yeah.
I've never heard you say this before.
Yeah. So this comes from the Freddie Prinze Jr. Some of you on the internet might already know the Freddie Prinze Jr. like rant about Star Wars. Because if you guys don't know, he played Kanan in Rebels. He's got a really good grasp of we don't like that show. He's got a really good grasp, at least in my head, of what Star Wars should be. And Freddie says this, that great Jedi aren't cool because gray Jedi shouldn't exist. Same thing with like gray Sith or whatever. Like Qui-Gon says it best. He turns to the light side because it's there. The dark side is a shadow of what the light is. Like the dark, like I'll have to show you this rant. I'll have to send you a link because it's fucking awesome.
I've never seen it.
Yeah. So like, what Star Wars is for me in this particular instance, he's trying to like start his own thing separate from what, like he's trying to prove himself as inevitably what it is, right? He's trying to prove himself to Sidious that he can do what he can.
That's always what it is.
That's always what it is. And you said it best while I was watching it. Sidious is a shadow that looms over him. And that's really cool. Constantly. That trauma that Sidious put him through.
It's always his whole thing is like, I just want... Because I think Maul's whole thing is that Maul was supposed to be there. Maul was supposed to be at Sidious' side as they took over this universe.
And right? That's why, like...
And that was taken from him. Because Sidious's plan was so airtight, and again, Sidious's plan had his own faults. The prequels are not good, right? But besides the point, right? But Sidious's plan was so airtight, and it was gonna work, and Maul knew that, and all Maul needed to do was stand by his side, and all Maul needed to do was go to Naboo, and he needed to defeat 2 kind of unknown Jedi, and he couldn't do it, right? And I love how they paint his operating perspective as hating Obi-Wan Kenobi because Obi-Wan took everything from him, right?
Right.
Maul could have sat there. Maul could have been Darth Vader. He could have roamed the galaxy, killing all of the Jedi in this universe after Order 66, but he didn't. It was all taken from him, right? And I love how everything that, besides Rebels, that Maul has been in really depicts him as a
I like that episode with Maul and him on Obi-Wan on Tatooine, but like
we're not going to get into that.
We're not going to get into that.
And this is about Maul Shadowlord, but I like how they really depict him as a disciple of Maul. Sidious, disciple of Sidious, using Sidious's lessons to create his own network, to create his own faction, to create his own side of the universe, and constantly surviving just like Sidious, right? Just to keep pushing and pushing and pushing, right? Like, there's so many elements of the show I like. I love the fact that the show's not scared to take Sidious out of the script sometimes. That they're not scared to just let
to be honest,
Sidious kind of disappear into the shadows sometimes.
Right.
Where, like, I love the fact that Sidious... not Sidious. I keep confusing Sidious and Maul.
That's fair.
Maul, Darth Maul, the dude with the horns.
With the horns.
With the horns. Darth Maul, I love how they're not afraid to take him and just let him disappear for a second, right? Because Maul is never always acting. He's never always like moving. He's not like Darth Vader, right? He's not constantly just destroying things and trying to make the biggest mess ever just to destroy everything. He's plotting. He's careful. He's waiting for the moment to strike. Like, one of the best moments in Maul is when the Inquisitor looked at the Jedi and said, "Where is Maul?" And Maul goes, "I'm right here." Maul knew exactly what was going to happen.
Right.
He knew exactly where they were going to be. He'd been tracking them from the shadows. He'd been using all of his resources to keep track of the Jedi, of the Inquisitors, and when he needed to be there, he was right there. Right?
Yes.
And that's so Maul. Maul knows that he's not the most powerful. Maul knows that in the grand scheme, he's pretty weak. He's really low on the totem pole, and he needs to use his power. He needs to use his ability when it's going to matter most. Right? And that was one of my favorite scenes. So, like, where is Maul? Right here. Right? It was awesome. It was perfect. Right?
And the fact that they brought in Darth Vader, which...
That was so
shocker.
Sick.
It's sick. It's sick as fuck. Aside from being fucking sick, it is cool to see that, like, the dichotomy of Darth Maul between him and Darth Vader.
We've never seen those two fight before. We've never seen Anakin fight Darth Maul. Right?
We've never seen that. And we've never seen had that happen before. And to top it off, now that it did happen, it's like a wake up call for Maul a little bit, being like, there's not only somebody stronger than me, but they'll fuck me up.
Say what you will about Disney Star Wars. It has a lot of problems. Their respect for Darth Vader as just an omnipotent dark force being who will just destroy everything, who you can drop a building on and he'll dig his way out of it just to keep killing, is insane. He is just a goddamn spectacle onto himself, destroying and raging everything in his path. And it is... I look at it with a childlike wonder. That 8-year-old who watched Star Wars for the first time is looking at this like
They've managed
so awesome.
They have managed to keep Darth Vader
still cool.
The coolest thing.
And Darth Vader is the greatest villain of all time, right? He is the most. If you ask anyone on the streets who is the greatest villain of all time, they will probably say Darth Vader. Either him or Joker, right? Like he has the most visibility. Everyone knows him, right? And they keep the respect there. It's still there. He is still killing at will, right? And I love their fight, Maul versus Vader, right? Because they're so different. Vader is pure power and rage.
Yes.
Right? He is just destruction. Maul is careful. He's calculating. He's athletic. He beats you with a million punches, right? Vader beats you with one, right?
Yeah.
And that's the difference.
If Vader lands a hit, you're done.
Dead. You're dead.
Like you're
right?
done.
Right? Vader will just overpower you. Maul cannot do that. Maul cannot just overpower you. He'll wear you down. Vader doesn't care about that. Vader will just beat you. Right? And I love the dichotomy. As you said, when they're fighting, it's so there. Vader, he's not technical. He's not pretty, right? But he's so powerful, right? Like, he's just so...
You can tell by their lightsaber techniques, too. Like,
exactly.
And it's more than just, like, dual wield versus...
No, it's so
single
much more
blade,
than that. And
like, the choreography...
is
insane in that scene, particularly.
All of it. All of Maul. Like, the lightsaber fights are incredible throughout this whole show.
Yeah, Daki Devin versus Maul.
I haven't said it yet. This is the best animated piece of Star Wars media to this date. The animation in this is just... It is
and I like
crispy. Oh my god, it's good.
I told you this originally. I think that the original Clone Wars is trying to imitate Genndy Tartakovsky's Clone Wars show a lot. But nowadays, it's not doing that. It's doing its own thing. It's really honed it in to the point where, like, the animation itself looks like matte paintings. You know what I mean?
It does.
You know, like, the backgrounds are really detailed and vibrant. The characters themselves look fantastic. I think it looks like oil paintings. You know, like
it really does.
It's like this beautiful watercolor kind of feel to it. So like when Maul lights a lightsaber, you can see the light like kind of penetrating through.
And I love like the difference between the red lightsabers versus the blue lightsabers, where the red lightsabers they feel more messy, more chaotic. Right?
Yeah, because
the crystal's been bled, right? It's been infused with the dark side power of its user, right? Where, like, obviously it's going to be more chaotic, where the blue lightsabers are much more refined. And it's just the little things that the show does, right? Where we're seeing the glints of lightsabers in people's eyes.
Right.
We're seeing, like, explosions that feel like they materialize very realistically. Like, it's just the little shit that this show just gets so right. And, like, Maul is not a plot-heavy show. It's not. It's just such a beautiful spectacle, though. All of the lightsaber fights, all of the combat, everything is just it's so much fun, right?
Right.
And I think a lot of people forget that Star Wars, A New Hope, the first Star Wars, was a stupid, fun, campy movie, right?
Right.
And I always value when Star Wars just remembers this is just a bunch of dudes running around with laser swords in space, right?
Yeah, like we can't forget that Star Wars was advertised for children.
It always has been.
It always has been. It's always been a commercial for kids. And to top it off, like, it isn't afraid to tackle some more serious stuff, though. You know, like some of the more deeper stuff some kids won't necessarily get, but, like, it's not afraid to be a family thing, you know? Like,
I just love when Star Wars is just fun and stupid. And it's just like, yeah, this is a show about dudes running with laser swords, and we're going to make that awesome, right?
Right.
Sometimes you need that. And, again, when in something like Andor, when, you know, Andor is very, you know...
it's a political heavy.
It's very politically heavy. It's anti-fascist. It's anti-authoritarian, right? Like trying to draw parallels between that and the modern day, right? That's cool. It's awesome. I love Andor, right? But I also love when Star Wars is just Star Wars, and it's just fun, and it's just silly, and it's just stupid, right? Like, and that's what this was. It was not plot heavy, but it was a lot of fun. It was very well paced. It was very frantic. It was just, you never knew what was going to happen next. You never knew what was going to happen next. I loved Lawson a lot, the Lawson family, but Lawson especially, the dad, right? There's not a lot of regular people from Star Wars, right? Like, even drawing into your Rogue One Andor characters, like, even these people are the rebels, right? Like, they belong to a faction. They belong to the faction to fight the Empire. They have their stake there. Where Lawson is just trying to defend his family and trying to defend his city and his home. And there's not enough of that in Star Wars.
There really isn't.
A lot of Star Wars, like, people forget this because a lot of the Clone Wars was fought between planetary defense forces, right?
Right.
Like one planetary defense force would side with the Separatists, one planetary defense force would side with the Republic, and they'd fight each other. Almost none of that is seen throughout the Clone Wars show or just within Clone Wars canon. And I think putting emphasis back on that, these are just regular people trying to live their lives with their jobs, just trying to make it work within the messy, chaotic space of Rebels, Empire, Jedi, Sith, Separatist, Republic.
And I like in the beginning of the series, you start out being like, well, we don't want to bring the Empire in. And then when the Empire comes in, it feels like a force. Like, things change when the Empire changes.
And it's just like, you don't want to bring the Empire in because you like this planet. You like your home. You don't want to see it change.
You don't want the Empire in because they'll ruin things.
The problem is that you're not the only one who likes it. Maul likes it too because he knows the Empire's not here. The Jedi like it here too because they know the Empire's not here.
Yeah.
Right?
And that causes issues.
That causes problems and issues. And
it is a very easy way for drama to happen, and it's so well done in this series.
And I like how Lawson just has a very authentic perspective, and it feels very grounded. And Star Wars inherently isn't grounded. We're talking again about dudes running around with laser swords, right? Like,
right.
It's like about people who can move stuff around with their minds, right? Like it's so not grounded. And like when you get a character that is as grounded as Lawson in reality of like, I need to defend my family, I need to defend my planet, right? It feels very authentic, and I like that a lot. I loved when Lawson started talking about the Jedi, where he's like, I never believed the Empire. I never believed that that the Jedi were evil, that they betrayed the Republic or Empire, right? Like, I worked with them before, I believed in them, and I love that because in a lot of ways, the regular citizens of Star Wars are painted as puppets, right? Where like, when the whole narrative is that when Order 66 happened and the Republic turned into the Empire, the people believed the Empire when they said the Jedi betrayed them because they were done with the war, right? Like, we never really got outside of the perspective of people who joined the rebellion, we never really got the perspective of just a regular dude in Star Wars saying, no, like, I believed in the Jedi, right? And I like that a lot. I think Lawson introduces a grounded element to Star Wars that I really liked, and his death was great.
Death was great. The slide over to the Force users of the show, other than Maul, of course. We're going to talk about Master Daki here. I liked him a lot. I like Devin a lot.
Daki and Devin were interesting.
I like the perspective of having a Jedi Master who isn't necessarily such a big deal. You know, he's no Yoda. He's no...
He kind of feels like Yoda a little bit, though.
Yeah, he does give Yoda
He's
Yoda
frog-like.
vibes. He's frog-like. Just because he's a lizard. Whatever. Amphibianist or whatever.
Amphibianist.
You know? But I like those characters a lot. I like the introduction of all these newer characters. You were talking about Detective Lawson, and he's great. Riley, the son, is great as well.
Doesn't get enough time to develop, but he lived, so maybe we're going to see more of him.
100%. I doubt that we'll lose him, especially since I think there's some kind of tension between him and Devin.
Yeah.
And they might even use Riley as a pawn for some kind of thing for Devin. You know, like, especially since Master Daki is dead. Spoilers. Especially since Master Daki is dead, they might do something with him. And that's probably the biggest benefit I think I've had this show, is that, like, I'm fiending for more a Maul story. I want to see these newer characters.
I think if we're learning anything from this, your show is good when you want more at the end.
Yeah, that's a big thing, I guess, for me. And I didn't even realize it until we started recording this podcast, that, like, if a show has some good shit in it and I want to watch more of it, I probably like it. You know, like...
Amen, right? I'm with you.
It's just hard for me because, like, I am a person who likes full, completed stories in my media.
Films.
You know, like... So I watch a lot of movies. So, like... I like a beginning, middle, end. And if I want more, I can go to the sequel. I can go to the next thing. If I want to, if there's not a sequel, then I'll just watch more of that director's work, right? Like, the Florida Project's a great movie, but, like, you know, the Florida Project's a beginning, middle, end, you know? So what am I going to do? I want to watch more... I'm going to watch more Sean Baker movies, you know? Or, like, to go more mainstream, let's go with a Marvel movie. I want to watch Iron Man. I watch Iron Man. I'm beginning, middle, end. So... it's nice. I can go to Iron Man 2. I can go to whatever, right? This show, when it has more of a grip, it has such a nice grip and it's such a nice understanding. And it by the end of it, I'm sitting here like, I want more. I want more Maul.
I want so much more.
Right?
I honestly, my favorite part of Maul Shadow Lord was Devin's Dark Side Turn moment.
Yes.
I'm going to give such a hot take, a ferociously hot take. Devin's dark side turn moment was better than Anakin's.
I mean, yeah.
I mean, yeah, because like
okay, so we're prequel haters, so
yes,
like
yes.
this is gonna inevitably happen where we're gonna be like the prequels suck, right? Like
I love to piss people off. I'm a contrarian at heart. I'm sure y'all know that by now.
I mean, yeah, look at the Revenge of the Sith video. Fuck you.
Exactly right, but like her dark side turn moment was perfect. When and again, like the dark side turn moment should be that moment when the light, when again, as you said, the darkness is the shadow of light. When you see that the light side has no purpose anymore and you need the shadow just to keep going. When Devin sees her master die at the hands of Vader, she knows that the only way that she could sanctify her vengeance is by turning to the dark side and by learning Maul's teachings. And the moment she knows that, she screams, and it's so powerful, right? Like, you know it the moment you hear it, that like she has turned to the dark side. You don't need to see her eyes yellow to know it. Right? You don't. And I loved that. Right? I loved it so much. It felt oddly earned. Devin's character felt kind of wishy-washy, right? Like, is she going to turn to the dark side? Is she going to stay with Daki? You don't really know, right? And in that moment, she makes the clear decision. And it's powerful shit when you watch it happen, right? And even when Maul has to, and when she is ready to go, she's ready to go toe-to-toe with one of the most powerful Sith Lords to ever live. And Maul's like, you can't take that. Like, you can't do that right now. Right?
Yeah, Maul's like, no, you got to step back because I can't even fucking handle this guy.
Can't handle that, right? Like, you're not going to be able to take that. And I love that moment a lot. I coming back to Daki.
Great moments throughout this whole season, just to put that out there. Just some great moments throughout the entirety of this piece of work. It's some of the best Star Wars you can get from Disney. So like, it
really is.
Yeah.
And I think this is a statement from Filoni, because Filoni is now the head of Star Wars, right?
Yeah.
This is a statement from Filoni of like, this is my Star Wars now. This is what I'm going to do. I think this is really a statement piece of like, this is the first Star Wars project that came out after he took over.
Right.
I think that's a statement. Obviously, Mandalorian and Grogu is a whole different thing. That sucked. But
to be fair, we have not seen Mando and Grogu.
We haven't. We'll be honest, we haven't.
We have not seen Mando and Grogu, but like, you know, that feels like a Kathleen Kennedy project.
Absolutely.
Maul Shadow Lord feels like a
It feels Filoni. Like it feels, and again, like Maul is Filoni's baby, right?
He really grew that character.
Filoni brought Maul back, right? He brought Maul back from the dead, right? There's no reason his character should have lived, but he brought him back anyway, right? And like, I love, and again, Maul has turned into one of the best characters in Star Wars, one of the deepest, most complicated, sophisticated, and nuanced characters that Star Wars has right now. I was very trepidatious when Maul Shadow Lord came out. I really wanted an Asajj Ventress show, right? I feel like they teased it at the end of Bad Batch because have I told you about this with Ventress and Bad Batch?
Yeah, I think you told me.
Okay, like in Bad Batch, where you see her come back and she has the yellow lightsabers and a very clear connection with the light side of the Force, and you're like, well, how'd this happen? Right? How, like, I want to see the progression of that, right? Like, how did this happen? And of course, we got to...
I think this opens the gates for a project like that.
I hope so.
Know, I hope so.
I think it would be cool if Ventress ends up somewhere in the Small Shadow Lord show. I think it would make a lot of sense. They're both existing in the same universe, right?
Yeah.
I think them crossing paths would make a lot of sense, kind of hoping in that for season 2.
It'd be nice to see Ventress as... Because Maul is an example of what you shouldn't do when you get the dark side, right? Like... Because, again, he is that guy who's pushing the boulder up the hill just for it to fall back on.
Yes.
Right? Like, it'd be fun to see Ventress be like, well, I don't want that to happen to me, so let's figure this out. Right? Like, you know, I love to see a conversation between him and Asajj. That goes back to the point where I'm like, I want more.
I just want more, man.
I want more.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. And especially, too, like, I remember talking to a lot of my Star Wars fans, buddies of mine, and they were like, I'm kind of sick of Maul. He was in Clone Wars. He was in Rebels, right? Like, I'm kind of sick of it. But now getting this, I'm with you. I want more. I think there's more here to talk about. I think there's more here to see, right? Some other things I want to say about this show. Yeah, going back to Daki, I think some of my favorite moments with Daki was when he was talking to Lawson. And I love how Master... I think Star Wars would have worked a lot better, especially in the prequel era, if the Jedi had more of an opportunity to just talk to normal people, right? And I think
I think that kind of helps a little bit with...
I think Master Daki adapting his understandings of being a Jedi Master to a normal person like Lawson works very well.
I think that's what helps and I'm never gonna compliment George Lucas like this a whole lot, but
Rare compliment.
rare compliment for me. I like when they do stuff like that because like the Jedi were supposed to be so separated from the normal people that people were gonna believe what the Empire's gonna believe. What are you gonna say, right? Like so, like the Jedi being such a higher tier person, quotations, right? Like the politicians in the fucking government, you know, like. I've never met a representative of Missouri. Fuck, like, you know, like so like it's nice to see like when they do tap into that, like Master Daki kind of realizing, oh, these are people, and I can communicate and get, you know, in their ear, and I can understand what they're saying. You know, it's nice because like the Jedi Order was flawed, and I like seeing stuff after the Jedi Order fell that support that the Jedi Order was flawed, right? And that's scenes with Daki and Detective Lawson really help cement that. I really like those characters in particular. I like a good Jedi Master. Typically, I love Lawson because I think Lawson, for all the reasons you said, but I just like that you just got a normal guy who went through a divorce. He's a single dad. He's figuring his shit out.
Which is such a rare character in Star Wars.
Yeah, like just a normal character like to have in a normal story, but you put it in Star Wars, it makes it so much better.
That's like what made a character like Han Solo work so well, because like in this whole cast you have a Jedi, you have the princess from Alderaan, you have a Yeti, basically.
Yeah,
you have a metal man and a walking
trash can.
And a walking trash can, and in this whole room you have Harrison Ford, right? Like you need the normalcy to kind of offset all the weirdness. That
right, like Luke is our audience surrogate, but Lucas is the audience surrogate, but Han was always the voice of reason. You know, like he's always the guy that's like, this is fucking ridiculous.
Never tell me the odds, right?
Never tell me the odds. Oh god, yeah, I love Han. I mean, like you make me want to rewatch the original trilogy. You know?
Yeah, OT, yeah.
Yeah, OT, you know, or watch one of my favorite Star Wars movies, Solo. That's just gonna say it.
That's a take.
That's a take. But you know, it's fun to see a normal guy in a world like this, because like the world is so fantastical and crazy that like when you see a normal guy, it's like, oh, breath of fresh air.
Exactly.
You know, like so I appreciate this show a lot. I'm glad it exists. I'm so glad that these characters are fun and interactive. You got anything else to say about it?
No, solid A.
Solid A, I think, from both of us. I think that Maul, Shadow Lord, I'm excited for more to come. I'm excited for Dave Filoni to be running Star Wars. This is just all good stuff for me.
Yep, it's a good sign to see. Saying this now, knowing that the next like 3 Star Wars projects are already going to suck. Obviously, the first... We have not seen Mandalorian Grogu, but we have not heard good things, right? So, I know that the next 3 or 4 Star Wars projects are probably going to suck.
I don't know. I'm actually kind of excited for Starfighter.
That looks cool with
Ryan Gosling. You know,
he's on a roll as we were talking about Project Hail Mary. There's obviously others, like any other shows that have come out that you want to talk about.
I'm watching Spider-Man Noir. That's good.
It's good. Is that airing right now?
Airing right now. All the seasons out actually.
Is that on
you
Prime?
Can watch it black or white or color. Watch it in black and white. It looks a lot better. It's all out. It's on Prime. It's easy to watch. Yeah. With that being said,
anything you want to say about it?
I mean, Nicky Cage is weird. Nicky, I guess here's my 2 cents. I'm watching it right now. I'm on episode 5. Nicolas Cage feels 20 years too old to be this character.
He is.
Yeah, he's like 64, and it feels
64.
He's pretty old.
Man, I'm getting old.
Dude, Nicky Cage.
I remember watching National Treasure as a kid. You're making me feel old.
Well, he was like 45 then.
You know, he was like 35 then.
Okay, he's either in his late 50s, early 60s, right? Like he's pushing it, but like he just doesn't feel like Spider-Man to me. But like, you know, Spider-Man Noir typically is not a typical Spider-Man.
Sure.
Just to be on my cape shit. But it's pretty good. I still enjoy it. Like I said, the black and white looks so much better than the color. The color is great. I gotta watch like part of an episode in color. Then I realized I was like, well, I just want to watch this black and white. But it just works so well. It's got great cinematography. The creative team that's working on it's awesome. I'm really excited. I don't know if there's some weird stuff with the fact that they can't call him Peter Parker or something.
Problem. Is it not Sony made?
It's not. I mean, Sony produced it, I think, but it's Amazon Prime show, so like they can't call him Spider-Man. They call him the Spider in the show.
Okay.
The show's called Spider Noir, not Spider-Man Noir. You know.
He's not Spider-Man, right?
Yeah, he's not Spider-Man quotation, so it's like I guess this is okay, but no, I really have been enjoying that. Other than that, I've got not a whole lot going on. You know, just
I watched that new season of JJK. It was
season 3 or season 2.
2 was awesome. Did you watch season 3 of JJK?
I have not watched it yet. I heard it's good. I've heard it's good.
I won't spoil anything. It's okay. It's kind of just like shonen fight simulator a little bit, right? The fights are amazing, but like again, like it's one of those things where like we're gonna spend 6. It's stupid because the second season's like 40 episodes and the third season's 12. Right?
Yeah.
And it's like, what are we doing here, right? And it's like it's a little silly. It was good though. It was fun. It was
kind of hard to follow a peak. No, you know,
it
like,
is, yeah.
You know, like let's not throw any shade at the Shibuya arc. You know what I mean?
Shibuya arc's amazing.
What the hell is happening, Shibuya? Fucking God, so good. What the hell's not happening, Shibuya? You know what I mean? Like,
right?
Honestly, like, so, like, it's kind of hard to be like. And don't get me wrong, JJK is not the best show that's ever been.
No,
made, right? Especially the best anime.
I watched it at the gym. It was really good to watch on the treadmill, right?
It's one of those.
That.
You know, that's a great thing that Shonen does. It's like it gets you hyped up. You know, like if you want to get some reps in, you watch that fight between All Might and fucking One for All.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like something like that, or the fight between Todoroki and Deku, or you know the plethora of fights that you want to watch. I'm just thinking of ones from My Hero, but other than that, you know, anything else you got?
Not really.
Well,
That's about it.
With that being said, we'd love to do more podcast episodes. I like these concept things. It's probably going to take us a little bit to put this out, but I'm excited for what's to come for the channel.
Absolutely. We have many more projects on the way. Next weekend, you're going to hear from us because this week is the biggest week in gaming in 2026. This is E3 week.
Right.
So Sony, Microsoft, Nintendo, and Jeff Keighley are all going to be having massive gaming showcases this week of what is next in video games. So expect a podcast like this next Sunday breaking down all of these showcases.
Yes.
I am always excited for this kind of shit, but there's always that cynical part of me that knows that it probably won't be that good, but that's okay. But yeah, this is Nick from Wartware Productions.
And this is Evan from Wartware Productions.
Have a great night.